another one ahead of us with Recon sort of. But let's get underway. Let's open the day with Magic versus Capoch as we hop into an atypical beginning in Dry Arabia.
And the first thing I notice is that boar is very close to our Mongol player. And that's something that, maybe you don't want to go for boar as Mongol in this matchup. But in this case, I mean, that is very, very close to your Uvu. I mean, it's right there. And you can potentially protect your Uvu and boar and gold mine with one tower. So, that's something to, again, you can adjust to. And like I mentioned earlier, these guys pick Delhi and Mongols. I'm not sure how they, value those civs in terms of how good they are, but both civs can deal pretty much or pretty well with any civ out there. So maybe they're just trying to, kind of like feel out their opponent, see what they're gonna pick, and maybe adjust their picks after that.
I think you're right on that board. Like the board, the thing that makes it frustrating, I think, for a Mongol player, like you said, they don't always play boar. Although I'd argue if they have mid map, they could, right? It's the fact that that's the type of placement where you'd want to have the ability to get quick TCs. You want to be a civ like the Roost, because you could easily grab the boar and also block out one of the Delhi's win conditions in that central sacred site.
Yeah, true. And a lot of it comes from, how Mongol decides to play this matchup. So I think Delhi here is not, instigator in this matchup. There are with sacred sites, but they're gonna go for sacred sites. It's about how Mongol will deal with it, right? So is Capoch gonna go for second TC? Is he gonna tower the sacred sites? Is he gonna rush castle? He has a lot of options. So this is going to be the case of Magic just going for, I'm making units, I'm getting sacred sites, and he needs to see what the opponent does and try to kind of counter that.
Absolutely. And to open up with it is going to be that standardized play with the racks looking to put the pressure on. Now, this can be a bit difficult to pull off against the Delhi, right? Because if you do come at them with spears, they can just react with peasants, and they can easily pull a scholar to heal off any damage done.
Yeah, it's still a good thing to do. Obviously, players, and we did get patches that nerfed the towers, so it's not as powerful as before. But there's an option with Delhi, like you said, to pull villagers, maybe micro with scholar, heal a little bit. But there's also an option like, you know what, you can destroy my gold mine, or I'll just delete my gold mine and I'll just go on wood and kind of ignore the towers, just let them being finished. And we'll see which option Magic decides to go for, because I think every player kind of has their own approach, right? Some people try to defend the gold mine, some people are like, nah, actually I can just take it, it's fine.
That's a fair point. I think like in earlier days, you always saw Delhi players vigorously defend it because of the double down the Mongols done. But these days, usually a Mongol player will drop maybe one outpost, possibly two max, and then just go back to handling their own economy.
Yeah, I mean, in the older days we saw like six, the Mongol just keeps towering as long as they can. So it's changed a little bit, but like I said, players adapt. Game has evolved, and we'll see how many towers we get. But for now, probably one. Blocking that stone and the gold, and a little bit surprising that Magic has not gone for maybe delete on that mining camp.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. And it looks like there is going to be a nice placement in the outpost here between the gold and the stone. Now, this is something I have noticed a few Delhi players more regularly dipping their toe into, is the idea of multi-TC play with the Delhi. Is it a build that you're in favor of, or do you feel that it's kind of underwhelming?
Sorry, give me.
It's
sorry,
right.
sorry.
Yeah,
Can you say it again? That was.
I was just saying about the outpost covering the stone as well as the gold. Do you think this is him worried about Magic going for a multi-TC build, because we have seen more Delhi players doing that?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely been something that Delhi players have been opting for. You always have an option, like, do you want to tower the gold or the wood line? And I think in this case, it's more of like, oh, I'm going to tower the gold, so I might as well cover the stone as well, just kind of like a bonus resource. I don't think it's specifically like, oh, I'm going to block the second TC, but it's kind of like, oh, it's next to it, so I might as well grab both. But the funny thing is, he has gold in the back of his base in like a very, very comfortable spot as well. That he can just go to and can just ignore this gold completely. So, not the most fortunate towering, but, it still does some damage and it delays those colors.
Yeah, we'll see if he tries to double down. Most of the time, Mongol players just stop at this point and focus on their own upside. In this type of matchup, you said usually the Mongol player chooses the pace, right? Like whether he wants to be the aggressor or the greedy opponent. Do you feel like Capoch leans towards more so one or the other with the Mongols?
Capoch is actually, it's kind of like a standard, more aggressive side player, but he definitely knows, when to take a step back and just kind of play longer game if needed. So for him, I would expect him to rush castle while putting some pressure, kind of like trying to delay as much as possible while trying to get castle. And the way he's positioning units kind of leads me to believe that that is what he's going to do. And we do see the villager pull, trying to get that tower, but a villager goes down already, and he needs to be very, very careful.
Yeah, you feel like that shouldn't be happening. I mean, he's got textiles plus the fact scholars can heal, so the fact you're even losing one feels kind of detrimental here.
Is that two?
I think that it might be a second one. It's hard to see with all the smoke, but there's definitely someone holding their torch out, so yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I think it is too, because he's in 20 villagers versus 21, and Mongol should be one behind, right? So that, a bit sloppy start, maybe a bit nervous, but 2 villagers, that's definitely worth for Mongol player. He's walking out of this one very happy. Loses a tower, saves all the spearmen, by the way, didn't lose a single one. And he's got the horsemen to kind of counteract the archers a little bit and continue harassment.
Yeah, and there's the fact that he only went for 4 spearmen, and he forced his opponent to go into 6 archers already. This should allow him to naturally transition, and it's kind of uncomfortable when you get forced to invest this many archers and you don't really get anything in return for it. In fact, you can see Magic instantly try to move out for mid-map control, but he already knows what's coming next. It will be the horsemen from the Mongols.
Yeah, he's seen the stables. Luckily, he pulls back because these horsemen can quickly, pick off an archer too. And yeah, I think, in this specific matchup, Magic actually has 6 on gold right now. So I'm not sure if he's trying to make up for the lost gold and kind of try to boost that scholar production. But I think Capoch has 500 gold right now. So he's got gold almost ready to go to castle. He just needs a lot of food right now.
Is this the type of moment where you can maybe play onto that boar, or do you think it's just too risky with the forces Capoch has?
I personally would go for the boar because you have the map control, and even if you extract 1,000 food, let's say, and eventually you can't defend it, I mean, just go back under your TC. You can just pull back the GER, right, so you don't lose anything, and you just get higher gathering rate, and you just get 3,000 food, right, for basically no risk, because at this point, Magic cannot really move out on the map and contest that boar in this low amount of units.
Yeah, especially with this composition. Archers plus spearmen, the fact that he's trying to go into scholars and it takes a long time to escalate that means he's probably going to be very paranoid playing out to the map. I think maybe one thing Capoch could do is take out the scout. Once Magic loses all vision, all of a sudden the chances of him ever coming out of his base decrease.
Yeah, and Capoch's still mining a lot of gold. He did get a wheelbarrow, so he will be going for that. Delhi obviously already has it. And it seems like, yeah, it will be this kind of 4 spearmen, 4 horsemen into just fast castle and kind of trying to harass his opponent, delay as much as possible. And we don't see any towers on the sacred sides so far.
No, just in the meantime, it's just going to be melee troops trying to block out the sacred sites from being capped. Scholar moved north side, and those spears should be able to chase him down. Might take a little bit of time for Magic to react anyway. So, one sacred site ticked, but it feels like he won't get more. And also in the meantime, it looks like Capoch is wrapping around in the backside to try and force Magic back home.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, I don't want to fight actually. He's just kind of bullying wherever he can. His goal is not to necessarily, do any major damage. He's just trying to, even this thing, right? He's moving the army up and then the scholar's not capping. And this is just delaying Magic's castle, which is his whole goal, because he is about to age up to castle himself.
Yeah, I mean, Magic's nowhere near. In fact, he's being forced to double down. More archers, more spears coming out, and it does start to feel like Magic is playing a very dangerous game here. If the tech up goes underway from Capoch and Magic's in position, he can do a lot of damage, but if he's boxed in his own base when Capoch completes Castle Age, this could very quickly snowball into a one-sided affair.
Yeah, and one thing to, did he just uncap the middle sacred side? That was Magic's, wasn't it? Or am I crazy? Pretty sure that was Magic.
Yeah, he just didn't complete it, I think. Maybe? I'm not sure. Actually.
Yeah,
no, he definitely had it complete at one stage. I remember it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the sacred side was red. So I think that there was, when he moved the units up, he left the sacred side exposed. Because at this point in the game, it's 10 minutes, and he only has one site captured versus someone that is not actually investing into preventing you from capping, right?
Yeah.
He just made the initial unit, so this is very, very good start for Mongols, and this is the matchup where I feel like Delhi has kind of good momentum once you capture the sacred sites to hold them and to keep going. But with this much gold being denied from Delhi player, as you can see, he has 1,000 food but no gold because of this, right? So the timing will be a bit off, and Lancers and Men-at-Arms might be coming very soon.
IAmMagic, a little bit delayed on his timing. You're not really getting anything out of it. We'll have to see what his next step is going to be. It feels like it's inevitable that he has to go for Castle Age, but the difference here is with Capoch now going into the Lancers, he can actually position himself to punish that tech up. And at that stage, it might just be lights out for Magic. I mean, the other concerning factor, actually, when you look at his base Beastie, is most of his resources aren't necessarily safe outside that retracted gold. Like, his secondary wood line is very far away in the middle.
Yeah, and we did see Magic move the army towards the top sacred site, clean that from Spearmen, but then move the Scholar backwards, so he did not end up capturing the sacred site. And again, he's kind of missing the goal there. And like I said, this is the point where Magic should also be, you know, aging up. But I guess also deciding not to wall off the sacred side, which is kind of an important thing to note, right? Maybe if he did wall, this would be a lot of a easier problem to solve. And now he's putting some pressure, and what Mongol in this situation wants to do is just not fight, just wait a little bit, you know, get a couple of more Men-at-Arms out, get some more upgrades, and then just try to engage this feudal army.
Exactly. He's already up 3 Men-at-Arms, 2 Lancers, more to come soon. Once he gets up to about 10 armored units total, he'll easily take this fight, and it will be very one-sided. So Magic just needs to try and position well, delay this, and draw all attention away from his base while he techs up.
Yeah, so far this is looking really good for Capoch. And he is also, by the way, producing. He has 2, shamans out, so he will get relics, which is something that in general should not be happening in this matchup. Like that, Delhi is the civ that, you know, reaches castle eventually and just says, "Thank you, I'm taking all 5." Maybe you can have 1, you know, but that's about it. And it seems that Mongol in this one will be clearing at least 3 relics.
Oh, and the ugly factor is you can see Magic, when he began that tech up, he had over 500 food surplus in the bank, so you can see just how skewed his economy was. And it's kind of weird to see now he takes control of all 3 sacred sites after such a delay. Maybe a little bit too late to get the impact he was looking for. Instead, the impact is coming right into his face. Capoch moves in with the cavalry. That's going to delay the tech up timing. And the archers, that's not what you want to be returned to base with. Capoch is going to clean all them up.
Yeah, the archer's engaged. I mean, he's trying to snipe the Khan, which is probably the best thing you can try and do. But again, you know, these are archers that are going down. Khan will, you know, GG, right? But he will respawn in a little bit, and then we can call GG again. But yeah, just diving these Lancers under TC and attacking the villagers. You know, even if he loses them, he's delaying the castle so much. And he's doing so many things with this, right? Decapping the sacred sites. He's decapping all 3. 1 is already gone. He's taking more relics. He's creating more army, and he's just getting his upgrades further. And the only thing that Magic is doing right now is trying to age up, and that's it.
Meanwhile, Capoch, he keeps the Lancers alive. He doubles down on them, now up to 5. Also, remember those Men-at-Arms that are building behind this all. And sure, Magic's playing the Delhi. He has the House of Learning. He'll eventually get better Men-at-Arms, but you have to question mark what state his game is going to be in by the time he researches Home Blades and has Men-at-Arms in the field.
Yeah, and we do see one very optimistic shaman there. Not gonna quite get it, but I think that one's gonna be Magic's relic. There's 1 relic on the bottom, and it's gone. I think, yeah, Mongol will be 4 relics. And he also is getting Sacred Side, so this is... I don't know if we got the colors wrong or something, but this is not how this matchup is supposed to be. It's actually supposed to be the exact opposite of what we have right now.
Yeah, this feels like one of those kind of villain reveals where they pull their face off. It's like, you thought I was Mongols. Actually, I'm Delhi. And now is looking quite delightful for Capoch here in the center. The Men-at-Arms are not answered yet. And the issue I do see is Magic's now relying entirely only on Lancers to form that kind of backbone of his armored units. No Men-at-Arms coming out.
Yeah, so the issue for Delhi player here, and what usually happens is Delhi at this point just basically doesn't mine almost any gold and kind of just uses Sacred Sites and Relics to get the gold. So that's kind of their eco boost. But because of the situations we're in right now, he needs to mine gold. We saw there with like 12, 15 workers, which should be on food. So his overall income is a lot lower than it should be. And Mongol is just swimming in gold, as you can see already. He's got 900 gold per minute. And, you know, right now he's loving it. And it's going to be very, very hard for Magic to kind of get back there economically. I would say his best option is probably to somehow try to get keeps, maybe extra TCs, and delay the game. Because right now, if they just go unit for unit, Mongol will just simply outmatch the Delhi.
Yeah, and speaking of economical sides of things, we've got to keep in mind Capoch did go for that second TC. So he's now going to start escalating. The issue as well is Magic doesn't have any info on this. And the way that he's having to fight in the midfield means he's unlikely to scout it out anytime soon.
Yeah, this is a really good fight for him. This is a lot of Lancers, and this is just Man-at-Arms.
And beautifully done with the Lancers. He just runs them past to body block them off so the Men-at-Arms cannot run away. So Lancers will chase away reinforcements, turn around, clean up the remainder, and Capoch has lost a heavy chunk of his backbone.
Yeah, Capoch definitely overcommitting there. I'm not sure if he had any type of scouting on the army. It seems like he was trying to hold the sacred side and not expecting the amount of units that were there. Because in this situation, as Capoch, you just want to chill back. You got all this extra income. You got second TC, right? So you don't need to be active on the map. What you can do is just go back, mass units. You have higher economy. So the longer the game goes, the better it is for you. And this is the classic Delhi, you know, a bunch of scholars, herbal medicine. Not completed yet, but I'm assuming it will be soon. And this is kind of, I feel like, Magic's one chance, unless he plans on adding more TCs, to kind of do something and try to potentially do a lot of game-ending damage. And I'm not sure if we have improved siege engineering researched or not, if that is even an option for him to, you know, try to get a Mangonel or something. But even if you get a Mangonel, I mean, it's just a bunch of, like, Lancers right now that are threatening you.
I mean, you don't really have enough troops to quickly build up the siege anyway. Just look how lacking his military force is overall. He lost practically all the Men-at-Arms in that fight. And let's keep in mind, there's a few escalation points coming out for Magic, right? You mentioned the herbal medicine, also Hone Blades. So even though it looks like he needs to rush to end the game now, he still has a power spike in the next 2.5 minutes down the line, where he's going to be juiced up and tanked up via the healing and the damage output of those two techs.
Yeah, I think Magic maybe should potentially try push the advantage right now. I don't know if
He's going for TCs. He's going for 2 extra TCs.
Yeah, so he might be feeling what I said earlier, right? If you attack now without any, you know, without relics, right? And without the sacred sites that he's now recapturing, you're kind of putting yourself in an all-in position. But the fact that he's putting extra 2 TCs says, you know, I'm looking for a longer game. Maybe he doesn't want to risk trying to end the game. Another option he could have done is go for a keep drop, which is something that Delhi players love to do, but he's actually deciding to just capture the sacred side and kind of stay back. And this might be the deciding moment in the game, because I definitely feel like there was maybe a timing there, because there was not a lot of units for Capoch in that moment. And we see Capoch is just now transitioning to pastures, right? So he probably ran out of food for a little bit there. Maybe his food sources were stressed out. But Magic is just going for a more macro approach, which, you know, not necessarily a wrong choice.
No, especially considering Capoch is lacking wood long-term. As you just mentioned, those pastures, heavy investment on that front. He's also going to need wood for the siege down the line if we do see a transition coming out of Magic. So overall, it definitely feels like Capoch has to come out of the base. He has to come out soon. You can see the desperation. I think this is intentional. He's going for an aggressive relic play.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit... I mean, that army is huge, right? Like, this is Spearman Crossbow, but that is a lot of Lancers, and those are... You know, they got backup healing. He has some archers as well, and I think he kind of wants to protect the Ubu, but he's scared he's going to die. So he's like, let me bring a relic as like a, you know, just as a deterrent. Like, don't try to get in here.
Yeah, well, there's back. Get back. I swear I'll do it. I'll press the button.
I will use it.
I'll use it. I swear I'll use. Oh no, it done nothing. Okay, that's gonna be a wash. Capoch is gonna try to hold with the defensive arrow. Plenty of spearmen in the mix and crossbows as well, but the problem is the lances, the sheer damage they're putting out, feels like it might be high enough to put a dent in this. Maybe Capoch holds. Remember, behind this, there's still an escalation coming out from Magic.
Yeah, I mean, the scholars are just doing so much
Oh my god, he stole it. He stole it.
He's like, let me show you how you do it actually. Okay, that's how you do it. You get all the units to run out, and I'm gonna take your relic actually as well. Thank you very much. And I'll be back in a minute and I'll attack you again.
Yeah, you want to do this again? You pull out another relic. We can try. I'll walk away with it. You know, that's how it's working. They're just making little bets here. You bet a relic each time to see if you can win the fight. And well, Capoch, he holds, but doesn't really look in good shape after that fight, especially when you look across to see Magic still has a healthy number of Lancers to play with.
Yeah, I think Capoch was in a really good spot initially, right? Just losing all... I mean, he lost his whole army in the middle, right? I think he didn't maybe expect as many Lancers, but he just lost his whole army, and now the game is turned. And the problem is, right now for Capoch is, he most likely thinks this is 1 TC, right? It's not very common where Delhi drops double TC behind this when they're behind and just continue playing. So he might be thinking, oh, he's on 1 TC, I just gotta hold. And that might give him a lot of false hope and confidence to play incorrectly and to play maybe too passively into this game, while Magic is just booming super hard right now.
Magic continues to keep that aggression up as well. Blocks out the step readout, so Capoch kind of starving on the gold front while this is happening. And it's that Sacred Site control is also just trickling so much extra bank in for Magic. Magic, who is now gathering stone. Unlikely we see a 4th TC. Probably now going to be that keep drop you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, let's take a look at the golds for Capoch, by the way. I mean, he has a gold right there that we see right now, but the other golds are very far away. So this is a really bad spot for him.
I mean, they're in opposite corners, basically. There's nothing nearby. He's kind of royally screwing that front. I mean, we kind of gave the perks of his layout, right? The ball was close by, the wood, stone looked good. But the gold was something that's always going to hurt him long term. I guess we just didn't think about it at the time because typically the Mongol player has the option to be the midfield controller.
Right. Usually the Mongols has the map control, so it doesn't matter where the gold is. They will take it. Usually it's, you know, like you said, it's the other way, where Delhi needs to choose where they're going to go. And I mean, if he can hold this gold, you know, someone might think, why doesn't he just go on the other gold, right? If he can hold this one, he's definitely not going to hold the ones that are farther away from his base, because that will make the fights way harder.
No. Defensive arrow coming out. So many Lancers here from Magic, though. 20 heavy cavalry units. More heavy cavalry than spears, in fact. You can see the result of that. Able to wrap around, start to snail them down. Spears aren't going to hold for long. Men-at-Arms won't hold long after that. And you see the tower rush coming out from Capoch. He needs to try and stabilize on this gold patch, or he knows he is donezo. Might be donezo anyway. Magic looking to swarm over this. The power of the herbal medicine is undeniable in this fight.
Yeah, the only way to kind of deny herbal medicine is do like a super focus fire on the knights, right? And try to kind of eliminate the potential of healing. But, you know, there we see the keep. And this is kind of the beginning of the end. If this keep goes up, he will not be able to gain any gold on the map. And that is going to be a rough one.
Yeah, it's going to get rough up. Lancers are pushing him away, so keep's definitely going up. He just fought tooth and nail to get control of that gold again. And he's about to lose it once more with this keep drop.
Yeah, and Magic's doing the smart thing, right? So he's playing he's playing a more of a style that I like to play. Like, he's not trying to end the game. He's just choking him out of resources. He's saying, okay, I don't want to push into the TC. I don't want to potentially throw the game. I'm just going to hold the Sacred Sites. I have 3 TCs. I deny your gold. And look what he does with the Knights. They're going to the left side because he knows there's a gold there. So he's checking in advance. He's like, okay, do you have anything? No, you don't. Okay. So the next thing you should do is rotate to the top gold, because where else is your opponent going to be? And if the opponent is not mining, he can attack, but he actually doesn't need to. He can just sit there all day.
Oh, the way you said he's playing like you, I can hear the pride in your voice. It's Papa
Yeah,
proud.
I mean, hey, this is the way to go. People hate playing against it. It works. I mean, what more do you want, right?
Hey man, if you can tilt your opponent while still having fun for an hour, you know, all the better for you. A lot of people, they want the game to end sooner, but you, Magic, they're players, they're able to kind of be resilient into that late game, and it definitely serves a purpose.
Yeah, there we go. Look, he's doing the smart thing. Again, he's raiding with the Knights. He's not overcommitting. He wants to keep this going. He's going with the Lancers. He's just raiding. And if at any point Capoch moves his army, because 5 Knights, you don't solve that with, 3 spears, right? You got to move quite a bit of units for that. And that has the potential for Magic to just run him down the middle, straight into TC. And now the wood line is denied. And the funny thing is, because the Mongol moved their initial TC, look at his other woodlines, they're so far away because his TC was moved in the start.
And here's another interesting thought for you, and I think it actually ripples back to when he lost all his men-at-arms, is where's the utilization of Yam here? Capoch doesn't actually have a network through his own base to move that slow army quicker. Just like he didn't have Yam to try and get that men-at-arms force out from the central sacred site.
Yeah, the budget trebuchet from Mongols goes down. It wasn't doing much damage. It's really not doing any damage now that it's dead. And those knights at the top, I'm just looking at them at the mini-map. They're just waiting. They're just waiting. Oh, there they go. Does he actually know that there's a goal there? Because he has not checked yet.
I feel like he doesn't. So that might be a redeeming factor for Capoch, but we still have to remember that wood is the other element he's going to need to get out of this base, and wood is something that's drying up fast.
He scouted it, so he's just not checking for some reason. It's kind of interesting. Maybe just in the moment, sometimes you play and you're too focused. I mean, right now, this is if he doesn't lose this keep, if he just stays here, produces, gets some siege, doesn't get let the keep go down, he's in a good spot. Because another thing we can take a look at is, let's take the rich golds that have spawned. And right now, Capoch is nowhere close to securing either one of them.
I mean, it's the issue I see with this as well is the more he leans into this crossbow count, the more likely, oh, there it is, the mangonels are going to come out from Magic. At which stage, Capoch, it feels like there's too many things he has to tick, right? Too many siege weapons and unit types he's going to need to get out of this base, right?
Yeah, and again, let's not forget, he still doesn't know that there's 3 TCs.
Yeah.
He has not seen a single TC this whole time. So he might be like, how do you have this many units? Like, how can I not outproduce you? I have 2 TCs. I've been on 3-4 relics until, I lost one. And the funny thing is Magic's kind of lead is actually just extending. It's not getting any closer for him. It's just getting rougher and rougher for Mongol in this situation.
Just as you say, it gets rougher, gets even rougher. Not the Khan going down, more so the fact that he gets caught building up the siege, and of course it takes the extra damage and just gets insta-killed. So more wood that's just being burnt by Capoch, and not much wood left to play with. Lances?
What? Went. That was funny.
Oh god, dude, I love it when Lancers just go in that formation like this. Cavalry is fast. No, they are on parade right now. Doesn't matter. They'll still win the fight. It'll still be a clean rout. Spearmen go down. Now the crossbowmen are going to be in trouble as well. Speaking of which, the crossbow count on the other side already matches what Capoch has. So you can't even argue he's got the range advantage anymore.
Yeah, they kind of like have same army, except they're scholars, except there's more siege, and except it's lancers versus spearmen. So, he's building a lot of towers. He's trying to hold this, maybe get sprinkled upgrades on them, but it just doesn't matter. Like, these towers are not doing enough damage to kind of overwhelm the army. He will push him back, but we see another keep on the left side. He's like, well, actually, let me get another keep in there.
I mean, the only thing Magic is missing is raids to the right side, right? I think if he just went up there, because that's the other thing that should be obvious now. You mentioned, did he spot the step readout? If I saw my opponent building his own little Magano line of outposts, I get suspicious. I'd be like, what is he protecting back there? We can see what it is. Capoch needs all the wood. So if Magic just wraps around with those lances, the weakness we always talk about for the Mongols is they cannot defend themselves.
Is there a keep on the top side? I see a little red moving next to the sacred side. I feel like that's another
he might be.
Drop.
Yep, there we go.
And the funny thing is he might see step readout with his keep. And he will definitely kill those wood villagers. So this is, again, it's another problem. It's like, okay, which keep do you go for? Do you go for the one that's at the bottom of your base, the one above your base? And he, funnily enough, still doesn't know about the extra TCs.
There's literally villagers just walking across towards the keep's location still. That's going to flag it a little bit early as Capoch will back away. But as you said, he probably still doesn't know about the TCs. He might suspect there's eco-inflation now that all these keeps are here because they can be turned into TCs, but that's irrelevant. Magic doesn't even need that.
I mean, he is at 121 villager Delhi. I either lose with 40 villagers with Delhi or I win. There's no other way. You make a keep at the opponent's base and you say, okay, let's see where the landmarks are at, but he's taking a more macro approach, and it'd be funny to see if Magic advances the Imperial. Not very often that it happens with Delhi.
I feel like we've seen a few more players. Oh, God. Well, at least they're yammed, right? At least that's the improvement from last time. They can run away quickly. However, Wait, did he not?
Oh.
No, okay, one sword.
One guy's like, guys, there's stuff over here. Get over
No,
here.
we're over here dying to crossbows. Leave us alone. It's okay, though. Their bros will come in from the south side. And while Capoch is playing Benny Hills, he's going to take a while to notice what's happening to his villager line here. Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, where do they go, right? This isn't the case of, oh, I'm getting harassed. I'll just, oh my god, he's pulling the,
What?
He's pulling the boys. I mean, why not?
Get him, lads. Trebuchet
Why
goes
not?
down.
There we go.
Oy, oy, oy. Capoch. Every single one of these, like, it feels like a punch in the nuts, right? Because this wood is drying up fast. At least accessible wood has quickly dried up. I don't think he gets another patch of wood for free.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's out of wood. I mean, again, like, you don't have anywhere else to run the villagers, right? This is the main issue. It's like, it's not like, oh, my villagers are getting harassed, I'll just move them. It's like, well, where are you going to move them? There's a keep above the villagers, there's an army under them, and on the left side there's double keep. Actually, third one coming up as well.
Feels like you're playing some little sort of stealth game where you have to weave your way through the shadows to get to the safe side. There is a patch north near the step redoubt that you could utilize, but getting there is going to take a long time. I think you just have to accept it and wrap around. In the meantime, just try to hold magic in this area, but it is getting harder and harder. Scholars not here in high quantities this time around, so maybe Capoch can finally take a good fight, but the Manga now is doing decent work at the Spriggle. What the hell was that Spriggle doing?
Yeah, did you see that? He was doing a little dance, like
He's finessing.
Like
he's like, ooh, you can't
yeah,
hit
what are you
me.
gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? And then two Spriggles just pop it in the head. It's like, okay. Okay, dude. The villagers doing work though. Those guys, I mean, they built a keep. They got like 2 Trebs, a Mangonel, and 2 of them survived. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna build a keep, actually.
Another keep? No. I never would have seen the Delhi player doing that. At this point, it just feels like he's mocking the Mongols because they can't build them.
Yeah, I mean, might as well just build the walls around them at this point. Just build stone walls.
Build everything that they could not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is just, like I said, it's rough, and it's one of those where he didn't deny the gold on top, so Capoch still has gold income, but again, you know, once that dries up, where do you go, right? You try to take the bottom left, but that is a little bit further away than this one over here.
Yeah, it almost feels like actually being able to access this gold still makes everything worse. Like, you know, if that gold got blocked out, Capoch quickly accepts this as a GG. Now this game is just dragged on, and at no stage has it looked like it's been going better for Capoch.
Yeah, it all started, like, games in AOE4 at a high level can turn around so quickly, and the question now is, you know, Capoch, you know, he's definitely losing this game, right? He needs to, I don't know if, hopefully he checks the villager graph, because then he will realize, like, oh wait, he's producing more villagers than me, then he was on 3 TC. So this is not as bad, because if he thinks this is over 1 TC, he might be like, oh my god, like what the hell happened? You know, like, this is not supposed to be this way. Like, how does he have this many units? So sometimes it can kind of affect your mental game, right? So as long as he identifies what the issue was and kind of shakes it off and moves on, you know, the series is obviously not even close to being over, so... but a good start for him, though.
So what you're saying is there's a chance Capoch, after this one, goes, oh my god, Delhi are OP, picks the map 2, plays 1 TC Delhi and loses.
No, plays 3 TC Delhi. He's like, wait a minute, I know what I'm doing. A 3 TC from the get-go.
But that's the key part. He has to check that villager chart, because if he doesn't, then he's going to do the 1 TC play. That's going to be
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, again, it's one of those, right? It's a best of 7. You got to plan in advance. And we don't know exactly what these guys are thinking. Like, does Magic think, like, oh, Delhi's my best civ, and he's like, oh my god, thank god I won? Or is he like, oh my god, Delhi's like my worst civ, and I won with it? Hell yeah, like, let's go into game 2 with some of my better civs. So that's something that, you know, can also affect players quite a bit, because not every player plays every civ the same.
Oh, Capoch, wait, buddy, you missed the best part. There was about to be an Imperial Age Delhi. Ah, well, he'll call it there. GG, Capoch waves the flag. Map 1 will go to Magic, and a respectable way to open this up, although questions will be asked about whether Capoch kind of just played himself into a corner.